How you all doing? Hey, it's Ben and myself. We're sitting here at AGC, and Ben is trying to sell me on a podcast called...
No, I'm not trying to sell you on anything. I was just making a joke.
Well, you weren't making a joke. What was your idea for a podcast?
I was sitting here, and we have an old ashtray over there, and I said he should make one called Smoking Safety, where he sits here and smokes a cigar for 45 minutes and talks about safety.
With other people?
Sure, yeah.
So you're going to smoke a cigar with me?
Yeah, I think that would be fun.
Okay. It always comes to an end.
Yeah, and that's when the video ends, is when you're done smoking.
Okay. But
pretty good.
As long as we're bringing that to an end,
God.
The next week, not this week coming up, but the week of the 9th, is national. There's a national stand down. We're going to be doing one, right? National stand down for suicide prevention. We should be aware that construction, the rate of suicide in construction is like 5 times higher than all other fatalities on construction sites, and the construction workers actually, bad position to be in, lead the way in construction or in suicide, not just construction suicide. So I believe it's next week, the 9th, starting on the 9th. We've got Reed coming in to do a toolbox talk for us next week. I think you and he are going to do a toolbox talk, and then on Wednesday at noon, we're doing a stand down in Vermont. Big stand down, suicide prevention stand down. I want y'all to be tuning in, be aware of it. Remember, the biggest thing with this suicide prevention thing is, again, reduce the stigma. You're trying to be serious here, aren't you?
Well, I'm not trying to be serious. I'm just listening to you.
Not you.
No, I'm taking it.
I know this is a serious subject.
It is.
But if we're going to reduce the stigma, we got to be able to have a conversation.
That's what I was
one way or
thinking
another.
about my next sentence, and I was saying being able to talk about it is huge, and not having it be awkward and.
You were making it look awkward.
No, I was just thinking. I like to know what I'm going to say before I say it.
Okay.
I don't just ramble.
You know.
I have a different tactic.
So if you were thinking, what's good to know about conversations and whatnot around the suicide thing?
Well, I mean, it's easier said than done, but if you're not feeling good and say something to either a friend or someone at work or something, or someone you feel comfortable with, there's always people to talk. That's good.
Ask for help.
Yeah.
Right? If you're struggling, let's ask for help.
Because, I mean, that's how it gets worse, is when you don't ask for help.
What's the other side?
Well, the other side would be if you're the person that's receiving the information that your friend's not doing well.
Yeah.
And that's, you want to make sure you're using proper wordage.
Right. And know when to make the call.
Yeah.
Know when to call for help.
Yeah.
And those people that are suffering through this mental illness piece should not really feel the blame. I mean, it's not your fault, right?
Yeah.
Could be my fault.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors in our life, especially with construction. Our workload and production and the stress around that, I think, is a big driver. And like long hours, especially now moving in towards October when all the leaves start to fall, starts to gray out. It's just a time where a lot of people who are struggling kind of get pushed farther.
So avoid self-blame.
Yes. Sure.
And finally, know your friends.
Yeah.
Find your people.
And if you're a friend, maybe reach out to some of your friends just to tell them that you care about them and they're important. And, just be nice to people.
Be nice.
If you got a call from your friend,
we talked for a whole year about being kind. Isn't that what it's all about?
If you got a call from your friend saying, "Hey, we haven't talked in a while. I just want to let you know that I hope you're doing well, and I care about you."
That's huge.
Yeah, it makes you feel good, doesn't it?
Okay. You care about me.
We're gonna have a relationship talk on the camera. Yeah, for sure.
But that's not what we came here to talk about today.
No, it's not.
Actually came to talk about thank those folks from DeMag Crane Service.
Yeah.
Did you get a DeMag?
I have a quarter zip that's at my house.
Did you? DeMag gave you something too?
Yep.
I got
No, it came out of your closet.
Oh, well, DeMag sent me a.
Oh yeah. That's great.
sent me a T-shirt here, the Mag Rigging, and Dave.
I got C-card on today.
Do you?
Yeah.
And Dave called and said, would you mind talking about extension cords out on the job site? And,
Well, this one is bad already. You put this one in front of me.
well, you're jumping ahead now.
Yeah, I'll wait.
But so he's picking out a bad cord.
It looks good though. Like there's no. Well, you go first. Want me to go second?
So no, I think first off we got to inspect all cords.
Which I did before. There's
and
no
make
nicks.
sure they're okay.
There's no nicks, but it does appear that it's been through a flood.
Okay.
Based on the mud that's inside of this.
Okay. But why would you use that cord?
This is only a 2-prong. There's no ground plug.
So you can't use a cord without a ground plug.
No, and where we get in trouble with this is if we're using box fans at our job sites, they can't just be like the ones from the house, because those are only a 2-prong.
Okay.
So if you're using one of those like white box fans with a knob on it, technically you can't do that.
Okay. So you got to have a ground plug, whatever you're plugging.
Yeah.
Except for those UL approved tools that are okay.
Sure.
Okay.
And if you lose your ground plug,
you can replace the end, right?
well, you can't use it if it's gone. You know, you
Correct.
can't say,
but
well,
you
there
can put
was
a new
one.
end on it.
Whatever you want to do.
Okay. You can put a new end on it. And then it's got to be 12 gauge or better.
Sure.
And you're pointing out this cord that you're playing with that you should just throw to the side and get rid of, because that's only a 14 gauge wire and it doesn't have a ground plug on it. So that's no good. But inspect all extension cords.
Yeah, it can't even be used outside, it says.
And then use ground fault circuit interrupter. Is that what you have over there?
GFCI?
GFCI, ground fault circuit interrupter. It's got a ground plug. It's got these buttons on the side that if you overload, they trip.
It's great.
Right? So you got to do that. You got to keep your extension cords away from foot traffic, of course.
Which is, yeah, that one.
Tripping hazards.
Yeah, that one's an easy one to not pay attention to, because you know, when we get busy, we kind of just tend to throw something in. But if you could take the extra 5 seconds and just move it somewhere that someone's not going to trip on it,
yeah,
that'd be great.
Okay. You hear about Bernard?
No.
Oh, Bernard was using a coring machine to make a hole in a concrete floor, and he had plugged 2 cords in together, and one of the cords was missing the ground plug there, of course. Okay, so they didn't have a complete circuit, grounded circuit, when he turned it on because of the wet concrete floor.
Not a good day.
He took a hit.
Yeah, not a good day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't use extension cords, flexible wiring where the frequent inspection would be difficult. Damage likely, again, across the driveway in a high traffic area, and where long-term supply of electricity is necessary. You probably want a permanent system, not a temporary system in place there. The other piece, you and I debate and argue about this, is that trip, where they put triples on the ends of these. How many cords can I plug into this?
From my understanding,
how many cords?
If you're the only one that's using those, you can plug your own working tools into it.
Tools. You just went to tools. I was asking how many extension cords I can plug into this.
Well, you can't piggyback an extension cord.
So you can't plug 2 extension cords in together.
You cannot make an extension cord longer than it already is.
Okay. Then I can plug as many tools as I can operate, as long as they're mine. But I can't let you plug one in and me plug one in. Is that correct?
From my understanding.
From your understanding. Now you're getting into that whole political world.
I'm protecting myself.
Yeah.
If I don't say yes to anything, I can't be held accountable.
So you aren't supposed to share extension cords.
Yeah.
Okay? It's, again, just for your use.
Yeah.
And no one else's. But I could plug into this. I could plug a table saw. I could plug a charger.
Everyone's moving to the cordless anyway now. So.
Yeah. Cordless table saws?
Yeah, you see, there was one here.
A cordless table saw. No shit. You see that table saw that when you push a hot dog against it, it stops?
No.
There's one out
You
there.
can do that on your free time.
Yeah. Anyway, don't use staples or nails to hold cords in place, of course, and don't use multiple cords connected together. Anything else you want to interject about cords here?
Just checking them, even if it's like something we're doing at the end of a job or before. Just doing a quick check. Just
Making sure there's no exposed wires.
yeah, or like nicks or any of that stuff. It's one of those things where it's easy to forget about, but it's something that would come to bite us if we had an audit or an inspection. So just
You
something to
mentioned
think about.
inspection. OSHA fine. Extension cords. How much?
It depends, but probably $5,000.
$5,000.
Probably.
Okay, so
Because they're going to find some other stuff.
if we circle this around, what would you say your big 3 things are with extension cords?
I would say use a GFCI.
Okay.
Make sure I guess there's more than 3. Use a 3-prong, so with a ground plug.
Okay.
Don't plug 2 in together.
Okay.
You're pretty good. And make sure they're not cut up and beat up and stuff.
Okay.
Yep.
And inspect cords at all times.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Right.
Make sure there's no nicks or
Okay.
anything. If you do those 3 or 4 things, pretty good.
Be good. Okay. And of course, next week, suicide prevention stand down.
Yeah.
And we'll be back. Well, I probably won't. You guys are going to eliminate me, but
For what? Oh, you'll probably join if you want.
will I?
I can talk to Reed.
Okay. And then you're working on a up and smoke safety podcast.
Yeah, if someone wants to supply cigars and sit down for 45 minutes to talk about safety, that'd be really, I don't know, that would be pretty exciting.
Okay. Up and Smoke Safety Podcast.
It's either safety up and smoke or smoke and safety.
Smoke and safety.
And
Okay.
then, yeah, I feel like there's some market there.
Hey, if there's something we can do for you or you want to sponsor Ben's new Up and Smoke Safety Podcast, you give us a call here, because remember, we're here for you. We're here at AGC. Richard Wobby.
Ben Osha.
Ben Osha. And it's 802-223-2374. Give us a call anytime. We're always around. Thank you all for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you in another week. Have a good, safe week. Bye now.